I don't think a lot of Bitcoin.
I think what's interesting there is holding crypto essentially has a cognitive load on you. Using it as somewhere that you're using for investment as a store of value to just put assets that you've got. It's almost that there is a price that you pay because of the volatility, but the price that you pay is with your own sanity with regards to that, which is something that I hadn't quite considered. There are less sanity sapping forms of investment.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I mean, I've seen so many people. I've seen people get very rich, and I've seen people get very broke with it.
I have friends in both camps.
For years, Ray Dalio has been one of the most closely followed voices in finance, especially when it comes to macroeconomic shifts and the future of global markets. When he speaks, investors across the spectrum take notice. So when Dalio started publicly commenting on Bitcoin, first with skepticism, then with cautious endorsement, it caused ripples. But what exactly does the billionaire investor really think about cryptocurrency? How much does he own? And what role does Bitcoin actually play in his vision of wealth preservation and economic survival in an unstable world? Today, we're digging deep into Dalio's nuanced take on Bitcoin and revealing how much he truly stakes in it.
Crypto, it's very easy to track the owners and transactions in it. It's not liked by the government. It doesn't move in a way that's consistent with, kind of any of the environments. And it's a small asset class. We talk a lot more about it, but its size is about, 30% of the size of Microsoft, and Microsoft is one stock among many stocks. So, it's given probably a lot more attention. I don't know, who knows? Maybe, there's some element of it. I don't understand why people are more inclined to go to Bitcoin than gold.
Ray Dalio doesn't exactly dismiss Bitcoin, but he doesn't romanticize it either. While many crypto enthusiasts see Bitcoin as the future of finance, Dalio keeps his feet firmly on the ground. He's wary of its volatility, government resistance, and small market size compared to more established financial pillars. When he compares it to gold, a favorite safe haven for centuries, Bitcoin comes up short in his eyes. He finds it puzzling that so many turn to digital assets when the physical, time-tested alternative of gold still commands such a dominant role in global reserves.
As I've said before, having a little bit, I have a little bit of it, but if you have a little bit of it, you have to think about those things. And, like I said, you have to be prepared for it to fall a lot, if it goes down 80% or something, but that limits the amount that you can have in it.
Dalio's answer to whether he owns Bitcoin is both revealing and restrained. Yes, he does. But his reasoning is far from evangelical. He treats it more like a hedge, a small insurance policy against an unpredictable future. But unlike hardcore believers who stack sats with religious fervor, Dalio keeps his exposure minimal. The volatility alone, he suggests, is enough to drive anyone mad. And unless one is emotionally and financially prepared for a potential crash, the best move is to tread lightly.
I think cryptocurrency or Bitcoin doesn't move in a reliable way related to almost anything. It's, moves up and down because of this mood and that mood. Unlike gold, let's say, I would prefer gold and I would prefer crypto for various reasons.
This quote underscores the core of Dalio's view: unpredictability. For an investor whose entire strategy is built around calculated macroeconomic bets and understanding global systems, Bitcoin's mood-driven surges and collapses make it an unreliable player. That doesn't mean it has no value. In fact, Dalio concedes there are reasons to prefer crypto in some situations, especially for its borderless, decentralized nature. But it doesn't yet offer the kind of consistency he looks for in a core asset.
There was a big bump in terms of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies around about that time. And it seemed like one of the first periods where people genuinely saw crypto as a store of value, as a way to just, I need to put my money somewhere that I feel is safe. And given the last 18 months of what's happened with crypto, considering that as that's the place I'm going to store my assets in order for it to be safe, I think said quite a lot about how people sort of perceived the state of the dollar and the security of banks.
Even with all his hesitations, Dalio acknowledges that Bitcoin plays an interesting role in the broader psychological landscape of finance. During the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, when traditional financial systems were visibly cracking, people fled to crypto. For a moment, Bitcoin wasn't just a speculative tech asset, it was a perceived refuge. That, to Dalio, reveals more about public trust in fiat systems than it does about crypto's reliability. In a panic, people need somewhere to run. For some, Bitcoin was that place.
Most depressions, most people remain employed. Most wars, most people don't die or get injured. Um, so let's calm down and put all this in place. But let's be in places where there's goodness and harmony and beauty. Maybe you spend more time in nature, or you go out there. And I'd like to meditate. Meditation has had a big effect on me. So don't get all stressed about it. Navigate it well, and enjoy life, enjoy those things. And I think that's most important.
Dalio's philosophy ultimately circles back to something more grounded than asset allocation. He reminds us that even in times of financial turmoil, the basics of human life often remain intact. His advice is both practical and spiritual. Don't become obsessed with markets. Don't let Bitcoin or any financial instrument overshadow the core components of a meaningful life. Preparation matters, yes, but so does peace of mind. In this sense, owning a little Bitcoin is fine, but clinging to it as a lifeline might be a misstep.
Like, if you think about money, and this is shown in measures of happiness, past a basic amount of money so that you don't have the misery, there is no correlation between the level of money you have and the level of happiness you have. Lots of studies show that. And the highest correlation is, do you have a community? That's the highest source of happiness, and also longevity. It has a big effect on longevity, stress.
More than smoking, more than stopping alcohol, more than going to the gym and exercising.
Right. And so, and then you think, like, what is money for? It has no intrinsic value. It only has a value of what it buys. And so it has a limited marginal ability, benefit. You add more and more to it. And, like, what are you going to do? Okay, so you're going to get a bigger house or a bigger car, or what okay. And what does that really mean incrementally relative to spending time with friends and family and all of those things? Most of the good things in life are not expensive, right? Friends, family, nature, sex, anything, it's not going to get better with more money, right? Materially better. And so it seems to me that it then can become an obsession, and that's not healthy.
In the interview, Ray Dalio presented a framework for thinking about money, risk, and peace of mind amid volatility, offering a clear perspective on Bitcoin. He doesn't dismiss its value entirely, but sees it as a small hedge rather than a bet on the future of finance. His caution is shaped by experience. He's witnessed friends face both fortunes and failures in Bitcoin's unpredictable market. Dalio compares Bitcoin to gold, highlighting that while gold is timeless and recognized globally, Bitcoin is still viewed as youthful and volatile. This inconsistency makes Bitcoin less reliable as a store of value. Most importantly, Dalio emphasizes the need to detach one's sense of security from any single investment. He values emotional health, personal relationships, and community over mere financial wealth, urging a focus on aspects of life that endure beyond market fluctuations. So, while he owns Bitcoin, it's not because he sees it as a savior. Rather, it's a small piece in a larger puzzle focused on living well and finding joy beyond financial pursuits.
And the highest correlation is, do you have a community? That's the highest source of um, happiness, and also longevity. It has a big effect on longevity, stress.
More than smoking, more than stopping alcohol, more than going to the gym and exercising.
Right, right. And so, and then you think, like, what is money for? It has no intrinsic value. It only has a value of what it buys. And so it has a limited marginal ability, benefit. You add more and more to it. And, like, what are you going to do? Okay, so you're going to get a bigger house or a bigger car, or what okay. And what does that really mean incrementally relative to spending time with friends and family and all of those things? Most of the good things in life are not expensive.
What do you think? Is Dalio's balanced approach the smart way forward? Or are we underestimating how big of a role Bitcoin could play in the financial future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.